Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to be analysing the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities may be available today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Okay, starting off here on the daily, on the top is EU, on the bottom is DXY. So what's the daily showing us? Well, yesterday was another bearish day, right? Continuing this bearish momentum sort of since Friday. Now what's most interesting is that we have now gone and swept below this low here, right? So this is a higher time frame low as well, and we've swept that low, closing obviously higher in price, causing some SMC divergence. We swept below this low here, that means sell side liquidity. Now on DXY, our inverse, we've made a lower high, right? We're nowhere near this high here, therefore obviously we have the divergence. So the SMC divergence is possibly an early indicator of strength on EU, meaning that this sell side liquidity is going to be used to sponsor some sort of bullish move, and that DXY is signaling some weakness because it's not made obviously a higher high where EU has made that lower low, right? So if we look at DXY for a second, we closed out as more of a high test doji, sweeping that previous daily high from Monday. Okay, so that's buy side liquidity also taken on DXY. So in my previous videos, I saw this area as an area of support here. We've actually gone down below it, taken sell side liquidity, creating that divergence, which I actually prefer even more so now as an indicator for some possible bullish strength from the discount of this internal leg here. Let's go down to the 4 hour. We'll see exactly what that looks like. So starting off a bit zoomed out here on the 4 hour, just to make sure we can see that low there where the SMC divergence has occurred. I've also got this X here to show that that is liquidity being swept here by this low test 4 hour candle. Of course, I believe this still to be the leg here. We have our premium, we have our discount, we are well within the discount, sell side liquidity taken, SMC divergence possibly indicating strength. On the inverse, on DXY, we had that buy side liquidity taken, possibly gone above this high, not quite sure. If we have, then that's great for buy side liquidity. The only thing I see that may delay possibly that bullish signal that we're having from this discount is that this 4 hour POI has not been entered yet with DXY. Now of course that contributes to the SMC divergence, but it is still a draw on price. Price may want to pull up and mitigate that first, so we may initially see some down movement on EU going with that bearish trend. So I don't want to get into any presumptions, of course, of the bullish price actions, but we have some early signals with that divergence, sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity, and then we have our discount POI draws, premium POI draws, right, within this bearish leg here. So just zooming into price so we can have a closer look. Right, so where we currently are, of course, internally we had this small pullback, lower high and lower low. This is all within the discount, so I do just see this as some internal leg. I still believe the external leg is up here, of course. Now, after sweeping this sell side liquidity, we haven't had much bullish pressure just yet, though this was overnight and now into this morning. We have a 4 hour POI up here that could provide some resistance if price does pull up into that area, right? So it's just something to be aware of that may delay any bullish behavior. So looking at this 4 hour price action, we can tell on the 1 hour we're going to have a new bearish leg, of course, because we had this pullback, lower high, now lower low. So on the 1 hour, we're going to be working within this bearish leg, it seems. We have the same over here on DXY. We have the same POI, 4 hour POI here with some liquidity right there above. So we could see some support here and some resistance here if we make it back up into these areas. So though we're in a discount, we could well continue our bearish trend from here, right? So to be aware of if we do get any buy signals from these higher time frame confluences that I had previously mentioned. So in summary, I do have a bit of a bullish bias because of these high time frame POIs and sell side liquidity. I have a temporary bullish bias, of course, you know, to have some sort of pullback from here, but I'm also aware of the resistance. We may also see sales from around this area or this previous daily high as buy side liquidity. So in saying that, let's go down to the hourly, see what that shows us. On the hourly, as I mentioned on the 4 hour, we would have this bearish leg. So you can see we've clearly closed below this previous low here. We We have the high here that swept internal liquidity and closed this 1 hour imbalance, and we had that bearish move yesterday. On DXY, we swept that sell side liquidity, had that bullish move. So we are, though in a discount of the external leg, have this 1 hour internal leg as well, which is a bearish leg. We're floating around the equilibrium, sort of this middle bit, because this is the overnight price action, and you can see we've created some kind of range here for Asia, which is fairly normal. So when we go down to lower time frame, we'll see where the Asia range is with buy side and sell side liquidity on each side, which may help determine our direction, of course. So we have a 1 hour POI at the top here within this 4 hour order block as well. So 1 hour order block, 4 hour order block. Same on DXY, we have that 1 hour order block down here as well. If price was to come to it, may see some support, may see some resistance to continue our bearish price action from. For the time being, we are in a discount of the internal leg as well, and we're having some bearish price action. We may have some reaction once we take sell side liquidity below here, but again, we'll see it on a lower time frame with the buy side liquidity above here also. So I think for me, it's the same as the 4 hour. If we're using this leg, we're in a discount. We've got the same high time frame confluences, of course. Sell side liquidity was last swept. SMC divergence indicating possible strength. Draw on price up here, draw on price down here, and even possibly this gap here, as we mentioned before. So we'll see if this structure actually holds. But either way, I think on the short term, from this discount with these confluences, we may be able to see some short-term bullish bias. And then once some around this area here, if price goes to this area, of course, then I would be looking for possible shorts if the order flow switches back to bearish again. And I wouldn't want to keep buying right into this POI, even though we may well break it. So that's my bias. Let's go down to the M15 and let's see what opportunities may be available for this morning. So yeah, sadly, yesterday, very predictable. Didn't manage to get in on the trade here, but sweep of buy side liquidity above Asia, closing at 1 hour imbalance, and price just dropped. Now, into today, what do we have here? We can see this Asia range created here. We have taken the buy side liquidity of it during Frankfurt, and we've had some bearish moves since then, now into the London Open. This was only a slight sweep, but we need to see how price action moves from there. Of course, we haven't broken these lows yet and created any bearish order flow, so not convinced just yet that this sweep is going to send price bearish from this discount / equilibrium area. Though it was an M15 order block here, I kind of want to see how price handles this sell side liquidity here. I don't think I'm ready to short from this point just yet. So where do I see price, or what would I like to see price to do? Let me discuss longs for a moment, because that is my preferred bias from this area. We have now just swept or sweeping this low here. So that's sell side liquidity. Now, I would like for price to either sweep this low as well, right? Don't matter if it does it from where it currently is or this low too, but sell side liquidity below Asia. And then I would like price to break above its high, showing that break of structure, preferably even keep this low here, just so Asia is respected. But sell side liquidity swept, break above that M15 high here, right, keeping this order flow continuing, and then we get a nice pullback down to our lower time frame order block with imbalance to go bullish up into this premium towards this high time frame price draw possibly. So that would be like doing this on DXY, so it can go down as well, right, taking that buy side liquidity here. Now I'm fine with what it's doing at the moment as well, because that is also sell side liquidity, so that's fine. I have no problem with this as long as we get that momentum, that move showing that we are going for this high. So a nice low test type candle like this, either down here after taking Asia, or from where it is now, bringing some momentum in, showing that order flow to continue with this sort of pullback within this leg here to this high. So I hope that's clear what I'm saying. Hope you're understanding what I mean. So we would have our lower time frame order block with imbalance possibly, inducement around this area, our order would be below the NY daily open as well, which is a discount in itself. Setting our order here, stop loss just below the lows to aim for more of that premium. Breaker structure here. So I'd want it to look something like this for those longs. So if we get a nice clear sell side liquidity sweep and breaker structure, that's what I'll be looking for this morning, preferably from this discount with these high time frame confluences on side as well. Negatives would be, of course, we'd have taken maybe some buy side liquidity above here and we'd now be into a premium. But yeah, I see this as the price draw. This is the better POY for me to go short from. Now to discuss shorts, because obviously that's with trend, right? This could be a pullback, and if the order flow does break down to go that way, I wouldn't want to ignore it because DXY may be drawn up into this area. So if we were to come up, just going with the current price action we are making here, if price was to come up from this area, take these highs again, or even if it's this high, it doesn't really matter to me, and then break down, break a structure below this low, closing below these lows, not like a sweep. I would like it to look very obvious that prices has closed below these lows and the sell side liquidity isn't just being swept. Then we could get a pullback to some lower time frame order block POY area to continue back down short from, right? So that would be an order block around here. Buy side liquidity swept again above these highs. Possible inducement from the pullback around here somewhere, and then we'd set our order. Stop loss just above the high to go short towards what would possibly be a weak low scenario, right? We'd have our negatives because we have our draw of price up here. We wouldn't really be in much of a premium, of course, and we'd be going against these high time frame confluences that we had. But you can't ignore trend, you can't ignore order flow and buy side liquidity, right? So if that gets swept when we do break down, then just like yesterday, right, we could break down from that discount as well. So my preference is with the longs, as long as it shows itself clearly. We do have quite a few news announcements today in the NY session. Is price going to just create liquidity and not do much until then, possibly, for those big announcements? So we'll see what price does. So I hope you gained value from that. I hope it was clear. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.